Joe. Just because a quote that Russell T Davies made about series 4 recently was, "It's easier and harder after 4 series. You have to find new ways for aliens to land in Ealing, and the cast gets better and better." I was going to ask, would you agree with that? What would you say about series 4?
Yeah, it doesn't get harder. It gets more interesting because you do find yourself after 4 years going, "Oh, we've done that. Oh, now let's do this." And yet at the same time, the joy, I think, of doing a kids show like this is actually the people who remembered series 1 are probably at the age now where they're just coming out of Sarah Jane and going into Doctor Who, and therefore you can sort of go, oh, we can sort of, not exactly repeat the stuff, but you can borrow from yourself and do it all over again. And that's quite nice. Sarah Jane has, unlike Doctor Who and Torchwood, has a much quicker turnover of its audience. And I think that makes it quite an interesting challenge.
You want to add to that, or?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I usually get asked to write the sort of character-based one. So I've done one for each of the kids, really, Clyde, then Riley, then Luke. And yeah, it gets harder. You said if I want to do one for you. I asked for this year, and then they went, "Oh, right, now, Luke, we want you to do it." I was like, "What's wrong with Liz?" And then write her out. She's in the attic. You were in this one. You stayed in the attic.
I did.
So when you wrote the story, The Mad Woman in the Attic?
That wasn't Sarah Jane.
Okay.
It was wrong. But yes, so the only, I mean, the problem I have, or not the problem, but the thing I have to do is try and find interesting ways to do that and still keep it a Sarah Jane adventure, so it's fun and all that, but also deal with the more emotional storyline that I usually have to tell, like Luke leaving. And that's the only bit, is to make sure I'm not repeating myself doing the same thing.
And in terms of, will they come to you and say, right, we want you to write this story, and roughly we want you to include this X, Y, and Z, or do you have a lot of free reign, or how does that fit in?
I mean, basically, the first one I got told, Clyde's dad, "What are you grinning at?"
I just see how you're going to answer. I see how much freedom you think you have.
And the right thing keeping them apart, didn't you?
I knew exactly how to see
Yeah.
it.
And the first one, I was Clyde Dad comes back, road trip, low budget, a bit less of Sarah Jane. And the second one was Rani and a fairground. You've got a fairground who decides who wants you to marry and things like that. And then this one was right Luke out, sent off to university. So I'm usually actually given a fair amount of freedom, I think, unless I'm secretly being given other things. But yeah, so I'm given quite a bit of freedom.
Could you just say, obviously the panel isn't going to probably change an awful lot now during the next kind of 30 minutes. So probably if you've got your photograph already, you've probably done now, and you don't need to do it again. Because they might move like this every so often, but they're probably not going to move an awful lot. So if we have no more photography from now on, that'd be fantastic. Last one on the front. Gary.